what if I actually told you that your judgment literally creates a self-imposed prison, a self-imposed cage? And there's three ways the reason why that. Now, not all, I started by saying this, not all judgment are bad, but it's just the negative judgment, the criticism, the condemnation of yourself and other people. It really creates three major things. Number one, it sets up a standard that's unrealistic for you. It's a standard that keeps you constantly having to prove yourself, constantly that keeps raising its bar. So that standard. Second thing it does, it literally creates a self-consciousness of people thinking, like how people think around you. So it creates a self-consciousness. You're really much more conscious about how people scrutinize you, because the same way you are judging and condemning yourself, in the same way you are judging and condemning other people, automatically, like a boomerang, you're thinking it's happening to you. So you're a lot more self-conscious when you show up to an environment. And the third thing that happens with this trap is your social circle gets reduced really quickly. Your social circle decreases, and your social impact also decreases. So, and why is that? Because again, when you're afraid of rejection, what you're going to do is remove yourself from people, or people are going to remove themselves from you because they constantly are feeling judged. And judgment is really the negative judgment and condemnation. You don't have to speak much, because about 90% of communication is nonverbal. So this is three things that we can do in order to really combat this judgment, this inner critic inside of us. The first thing is we need to have self-reflection, but you need to have self-reflection of the root of your standard. Like ask yourself, why do I have such a high standard? Or why do I judge people automatically, critically? First of all, we're all human beings and we tend to judge. That's the way we are. But why being so critical? Why do people have to actually think and feel and act the way I do? That might be getting you to a root of maybe, I don't know, what happened to you? Did you have a voice growing up? Maybe you didn't. And maybe now you're subconsciously imposing it on everybody else. The second thing, self-compassion. Have self-compassion on your shortcoming. Have self-compassion on the things that you fall short on. Because if you don't, you will not have grace with anybody else that falls short. Now, I'm not saying that when people fail you over and over and over again to keep giving them forgiveness and, hey, give them second chance, then you can have boundaries. But I'm talking about if you fall once or twice, then all of a sudden you're beating yourself up. Right? So that's what I'm talking about. If you have that high standard, you will not have compassion on your failures. The third thing is self-acceptance. It literally decreases self-rejection or social rejection. So the more you accept yourself and the more you understand other people, focus on your understanding of how people may be different than you. And it's also releasing really the need to have them think exactly the way you are, the way you think. Because if the way you are, the way you think is always right, everybody always has to be wrong. And that's a recipe for rejection. And that's a recipe for isolation. It's a recipe for social decreasing of your interaction.